Okay, Corinthians. Of course, there are two letters. We're only going to discuss one. The first letter, First Corinthians. And so this is a landscape. Paul preaches Christ crucified at Corinth, um, borrowed from Pinterest. So these are pictures of Corinth, thanks to Google Images. So this is the map of the Aegean Sea. No? We could see at the right Asia Minor, and where Ephesus, we can find Ephesus. On the left is Greece. Macedonia is on the top, and then Achaia, yung sa portion where Corinth is found. And then the important cities are there, Sparta and then Athens. In Corinth, by the way, there is this, you can see two large bodies of water, Corinth Gulf on the north, and then Saronic Gulf on the south. And so during the ancient times, they have this, they were transporting by land, no, from Corinth Gulf on the northwestern side down to the southeastern portion. And so what the moderns did, they created a canal like a, no, in the middle. They excavated. So this is the port, the picture from say coming from the top, no? Yung mga ports na Lyceum and then Chenrei, and then they call it the ancient Diolkos Road. So the ancient Diolkos of Corinth, one of the greatest technical works of antiquity, is being restored. Over the last year, this is 2021, so that's 2020, the Corinth Ephorate of Antiquities conducting works of enhancement and protection on the ancient stone. So what they do here, you could see this padded roads. They would be, because um, it was separated by land, they would be transferring yung mga boats, no? They would be pulling these boats into land, no, and transfer one boat from one port into the other. Okay? So that was what they were doing in the past. Let's look at that map again, no? So they would be transporting one boat from the Adriatic Sea, pulled by, of course, slaves. No, this will be pulled by slaves and transferred to the other port, which is Stenray. And you could imagine the amount of trade being engaged, no, in this very region. So this is the Isthmus of Corinth. Okay, so notice, if you're from the northern portion, there is no way, no, you could go around it, no, you're going to go around it and then travel. So that is not only expensive, but it also dangerous, no, while you are traveling at sea. So this is what they did. They excavated, no, they excavated, you could see, no, from one end to the other in order to allow ships or no, boats and small ships, no. It's like the Panama Canal, no. They opened the way from the, we say, from the Atlantic Ocean going to the Pacific Ocean. So what does this signify? Corinth is a rich city. Okay, Corinth is a rich city, and it is a place of people coming from different cultures. No, because this is the, look at the map again. This is the quickest way. No, imagine you're coming from Turkey through the agency, and then that is the easiest way, no, going to Greece. Yeah. And so Corinth during the time of Paul, these are of course reconstructions. Why is this reconstruction important? You could see the town plaza in the center, okay? The town plaza, and then the marketplaces are surrounding, okay? You can see those structures, no? You can see those rectangular structures, no, surrounding the fountain in the middle. And on the lower left is the temple. Okay. So just a hint. What's the significance of this map? No? What's the significance? So in the temple, they would be slaughtering sheep, bulls, and goats. Okay. So after the animal has been slaughtered, where do you bring it? Do you bring it to your refrigerators or to no? So they would be selling it in the markets, no, where it is more profitable. So what's the point? We will discover later, especially when it comes to eating. Some photos of ancient Corinth, again courtesy of Google Map, uh, Google Images rather. No, this um, ancient temple, and then some um, what do they sort of baths, no, where the water flows in, no, and then some of these ancient images there. So, and this is a third convert implied in Romans. You could see, no, Erastus, uh, Proven, Provence, I think, and then SPSTR, the um, acronym for the Roman Imperium. Okay, he is the director of public works or city treasurer. It is unusual for Paul to identify a person by title, but this is an important title. What makes the person of particular significance is that in 1929 an inscription was discovered honoring Erastus. So what are these inscriptions? This supply proof, no, to the story of Paul and the gospel proclamation which took there at Corinth. About the timeline, okay, so we could say that the earliest settlers of Corinth was 5000 BC, no? Earliest Neolithic finds, and then at 750, the Bacchiadae, this is a powerful family, they took power in Corinth. At 700, they learned, no, the creation of the trireme, no, where as far as Phoenicia, that is just north of Jerusalem, no, yung Phoenicia. And then 625, black figure pottery created at Corinth, which is, we say, one of the tradable products. 585, an oligarchy of 80 people takes power at Corinth. This is like a senate, no? 80 people or more. They are oligarchs, who are the ones in charge of the managing the community. 580, first athletic games at Isthmia. And when we say athletic games, they invite, no, other players, no, or even gladiators from different tribes, no. And so this is one of the events, that they look forward to. And then the Peloponnesian League. What is this? The Peloponnesian League refers to the important cities of Greece. That is to include Sparta, Corinth, Elis, and then later on, and then Tegea. which establishes the Spartan hegemony, which means in the Peloponnese, Sparta became the sort of the ruling tribe, no? Ruling tribe. And notice Athens is not included because Athens is in the separate part of Greece. 550, the Temple of Apollo is constructed at Corinth. 240, Corinth joins the Achaean League. Okay. But in 146, the Romans destroyed Corinth, and then, of course, they took over. The Achaean League was dissolved. So Rome rules Greece. 44, Julius Caesar developed or redeveloped Corinth as a Roman colony. So it became it was restored to its importance. Roughly 50 to 52, Paul ministers at Corinth. And then likely the letter that we're talking about, 56 perhaps, no? And then the second letter might be 57. 67, under Nero, excavation of the Corinth Canal. The one that we were looking at a while ago, no? Yung the Diolco Road. No? He was the first to imagine an opening, no? A canal that moves from one port to another. But this was not continued. No? Perhaps they saw they did not have backhoes during that during their time. They did not have a backhoe. They did not have excavators, no. And then Corinth burned by the Visigoths, the sort of barbarians. Of course, barbarians is a Western term, so the Visigoths. And then 1882 to 1893, the work on the Corinthian Canal opened in. And then in 1893, it was there. So this is the Peloponnesian League, Sparta, and then Argos, Corinth, Thebes, and now to add Thebes and Athens, no, at a later time. Corinth as a city-state, there grew to be over 1,000 city-states in ancient Greece, but the main poleis, or most likely the word is city, but of course, the leading community were Athena, Sparti, Corinthos, Thiva, Syracusa, Aegina, Rhodos, Argos, Eretria, and Elis. Now, each city-state ruled itself. They differed greatly from each other. Sorry about that. In governing philosophies and interests. So they were more of independent states, but they come together for for organizational purposes, especially when waging in war. No, it emphasized maintaining a strong military, while Athens valued education and art. In Athens, every male citizen had the right to vote, so they were ruled by a democracy rather than have a strong army. Athens maintained their navy. So most of us know about city-states like Athens and Sparta, especially due to the movies. However, other city-states such as Corinth were also important. In fact, at its height, it was considered one of the wealthiest city-states in Greece. And I already explained why, because of the amount of trade that, imagine, everything has tax, no? Right now we are really struggling with taxes, no? But for them, everything is being taxed, and that makes the city of Greece really, we could say, easy money for them, no? And of course, that would attract the Romans, no? They would see, the Romans would see Corinth as a milking cow, no? To say the least, no? Ancient Corinth, which is located in a narrow strip of land that connects the mainland of Greece to the Peloponnese Peninsula, is strategically poised in a way that allowed the Corinthians to become masters at trade. As a result of this location, being tradesmen and merchants is what they were particularly known for. So Corinth as the fifth largest city in ancient Rome. Imagine, Rome is the first, and then to be assigned as the fifth, no? Even surpassing Athens, no? To say that the second is in Alexandria, which has been, of course, existing since time immemorial, no? And then Ephesus at the east, Antioch further east, and then Corinth, which is um, a step closer to Rome. These are potteries from Corinth. Okay, beautiful craftsmen. No? So of course, in these jars there are stories. Of course, difficult to unearth. No, it's only what is visible to the eye that we can interpret this. Yung mga British pronounce it as vase, no? Vase. Pero we are influenced by the English, so these are vases. Vases. And then some other potteries here. So look, no? Imagine how creative also the people, how artistic yung people of Corinth. And what is common, you could see they are using, except for the one in the left, they are using black clay, black clay, which is um, perhaps very strong and very, we say, um, yung indigenous, no, to the people of Corinth, what is available to them. Visual presentation, no, from dun sa mga what we call Sunday school material, no? Paul with Priscilla and Aquila, they were engaged in tent making. That is also how Paul developed built partners, no, in the creation of tents, no, which is of course better than just waiting for money to come, no, from donations. They will be working on their own. Okay, a brief. Any question about these pictures, illustrations? I hope it's clear. Okay. Ayan, si Yoni.
Sorry sir, just to clarify, yung picture kanina nung temple at nung plaza, they sell the sacrifices to the marketplace. Did I get that correctly? Or ano
Ganun ang
yung...
magiging ano. Remember, they love trade. They are experts of trade. But
Mm,
let's just talk about, let's put trading aside. Yung
okay.
practical is that it's already dead.
Ah,
So, the offering, usually yung mga wealthy people conduct offering,
mm,
kunyari bull.
mm,
What are and then the priest, of course, they would, ano yun, double income for them.
okay.
They
So,
they 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 officiated the offering,
mm,
and then they have something more to sell because they already own it, di ba?
all
So
right,
it would go to the marketplaces. So this is a good preparation to sa idol food, no?
right.
That we will be looking at
Mm,
later on.
okay.
Idol
Thank you, sir.
food. Food sacrifice to idols. Okay, logical order. This is for us to, this is I don't know if you're taking hermeneutics, but this is a help guide for everyone. Not only for the letter to the Corinthians, but other epistles as well, even the general epistles to include Hebrews and James. So we could see here, for example, on the form on the left, no, introduction and then explanation and then illustration or causation, diba? Introduction, preparing for what follows, and then explanation, providing clarifications. Illustration is citing an example or instance to for the reader, no. And then causation, showing cause and effect. What was the cause for these events or so, no? And then there is instrumentation, the use of instruments in order to accomplish, some things, demonstrating the means to an end. And then sometimes there is interrogation, the giving a question and answer. In the letter to the Romans, we saw, no, many of these interrogate. Actually, it's more of a question and yeah, and then evidences. So evidence, if he's making a claim on an argument, the question is, what is your evidence? So that the evidence strengthens the idea. Particularization, no? Meron palang summarization si Jedediah dito. Thank you. And then continuation, extending an idea. Okay, continuity. Stating the same idea, continuity. You have said something, or then there is some digression, there is a change of topic and then goes back to the main topic. That is a continuity. Repetition, you said something, but you're using different words, but you're also saying it. You're saying the same point, again for emphasis. Of course, comparison and contrast, it's self-explanatory. No? We don't discuss that. Summarization, wait. And then summarization, I think si Pastor Jedediah gave us an example on the chat, no? Reviewing main points. No? And then conclusion, bringing inferences to an end. One thing about conclusion para sa mga preachers here, no? If you've gone into the conclusion, stop it immediately. Kasi you're concluding. Sometimes people would tell more stories, no? Akala ko ba nagko-conclude na siya and then magta-tell pa ng more stories. Or sometimes going to, no. So when it's some conclusion, you put it into an end again. Okay, reading in sentences. This is important. Yeah, things to look for in sentences. Repeating words, phrases, and then contrast, no? Like a gentle answer or a harsh word. Or comparisons, soar on wings. So there's a use of simile. The use of the word like, no? And then there's list fruit of the spirit, or what is this? The explanation of what love is, no? Love is patient, love is kind, and it goes on. Cause and effects, the wages of sin is death. And then there are figures of speech, the Lord is my rock. Conjunctions, therefore, the use of the therefore, and then verbs where the action is pronounced. Look for pronouns. No? When it's our, then that is to include some other people. But the question is it inclusive our or exclusive our? What does that mean? In Filipino, we have kami and then tayo. Tayo is inclusive, first person plural, and then kami. Kami is exclusive. So anyway, mga pronouns. How to read the book in paragraphs, no? So some of you did your midterm exam in books, no? Not only in passages. So what can we do about that, no? Things to look for, general, specific, live by the Spirit. So of course, so you look at how it engages with the fruit. And then there are questions and answers, no? And then there's this dialogue, a conversation, this long dialogue, responses. There's this coming from, for example, Cornelius, and then another coming from Peter. And then purpose statements. So what's the purpose? So God so loved that he gave. Okay. Why did he give? Because he loved the world. That's the purpose. And that resulted in our salvation. And it means how? How is it? How is Paul thinking of the means? So by the Spirit put to death. So it's with the help of God's Spirit, then it is possible. It's not impossible. More things to look for, conditional clauses, action roles of people, and action roles of God. Sometimes there are miraculous deeds, no? Whether in the book of Acts or in the letters of Paul as described. And actions role of people, this is more about narrative, no? The importance of narrative. Look closely what he did, what happened, why he did so, and then what was the result of his actions. Emotional terms, I plead with you, or there is this tone, no? Galatians 3 ba yun? 3:1? You foolish Galatians. So the tone is intense, and he is not angry. He is really, really, really angry when he using the tones there. Okay, let's stop.